What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, actually. I really love A Song of Ice and Fire. And like a lot of people, I was really disappointed with the ending of the TV show. Now, obviously, we've been waiting, almost 17 years for Winds of Winter, so the showrunners didn't have a lot to go on, and that whole drama, blah, 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 we all know. But over time, the community has really taken to creating these alternate endings or even alternate timelines and having a lot of fun with them. There's even a big community here on YouTube for that, and I've been watching a lot of those. So I thought I might try my hand at creating one such alternate scenario for A Song of Ice and Fire, centered around one of my favorite characters, a lot of potential that I think was wasted early, and that is Viserys. So let's get into it. After Robert's rebellion, Viserys and Dany are flung into exile in Essos, first as vagrants, then being shuttled from one shelterer to another, to capitalize on the prestige of hosting them. But they are used only for their name, and discarded when they become inconvenient. He and Dany are sheltering on the street one night, when an assassin's blade catches him by surprise in the shoulder, the wound painful and throbbing, but mercifully shallow. He staggers back. The assassin won't miss again. He raises a chipped dagger with a jeweled pommel to defend himself, one of the last items of value he has left. The assassin, a fully grown man, more than a match for him in frame and experience. Viserys braces himself for the strike, Dany cowering behind him when, as soon as he lunges again, a ragged shadow tackles the man, bearing him to the ground. Viserys is too stunned to act, taking multiple heartbeats to process and react. As he looks down, he sees the assailant felled, his life's blood spilling from a jagged gash in his neck. Viserys rushes over to his savior. The figure collapsed next to him on the ground. His chest heaves, with labored breathing, the assassin's own blade still lodged between his ribs. Viserys tries to aid his savior, shocked to find him a youth, maybe 2 or 3 summers younger than himself. "Why?" he manages to whisper. "You don't even know me. Why aid me?" But the boy only smiles slightly, trying to focus on breathing before he succumbs to his wounds, on the cold Braavosi street. This experience deeply humbles Viserys, who also hears of the hatred the people now have for the legacy of his father. This prompts Viserys to focus on the now. He hasn't forgotten his throne, but he understands he will need much more than he has now to reclaim it. To seize the Iron Throne one day, he must become Iron himself. He first considers a beneficial match for his sister that might grant him an army, but quickly rules against it. That would be borrowed power only, much like those that had offered them aid, only to deny it when it became inconvenient. He leaves her with Illyrio Mopatis and journeys solo into the ruins of Illyria to try and make contact with his ancestors' foresight. He knew of Daenerys the Dreamer, the namesake of his own sister, and the other dragon dreamers of his line. Reflecting on the mistakes of his father and the hubris that had led to the downfall of House Targaryen in Westeros, the infighting and the degradation so far removed from the conquering spirit of Aegon I, he walks alone into that damned and ruined land to seek what made his people strong once, and maybe reignite the fire of the dragon once again. Viserys carefully makes his way through the ruined peninsula, narrowly evading half-human, half-draconic abominations, stonemen, and volcanic instability to find a preserved underground reliquary. He finds no dragon eggs, but, disappointed, he comes upon a large semicircular seal set half-buried in sickly vines and volcanic ash. His eyes widen in surprise. He can read it. He may have been petulant in his youth, but one lesson he always took to was his mother tongue, High Valyrian. It takes a day and a night, but he works at the seal, pressing and sliding the numbered grooves until it gives. Here he finds many of the treasures that Euron Greyjoy looted in the main timeline, including a full suit of Valyrian steel plate armor, a treatise on fire sorcery, and of course the dragon binder horn. But more than any of these material items, he finds something else in the ruins of his ancestral homeland. Himself. He will no longer be a slave, to his father's legacy, the Mad King. If he's going to take his throne back, he needs to do it on his own merit. After returning from Valyria, he makes his way to Braavos, selling some of the lesser treasure to found his own small sellsword company, linking back up with Jorah Mormont as his veteran advisor. For the next few years, he takes part in various skirmishes and wars between the city-states of Essos, growing his company, the Silver Scales, greatly in this period, mostly recruiting from second and third sons of magisters, hedge knights, and making connections with the Iron Bank in Volantis. His company quickly gains a reputation for expertise in heavy cavalry maneuver, which is underdeveloped in Essos and never reneging on a contract. Those dealings bring the incognito Viserys into contact with Jon Connington and the Golden Company. Jon Connington recognizes him immediately and is wary. "What's his goal here? Does he still seek the Iron Throne?" he thinks to himself. Through fighting together in a joint campaign against Tyrosh, Jon Connington and the Golden Company captains come to respect Viserys, recognizing the love of his troops, personal command charisma, and his talent for soldiering. There is also his burgeoning talent for pyromancy, learned from the recovered Valyrian tome, and honed with the tutelage of a red priest met in Ashai by Shadow that had since joined his retinue. One night, while encamped before a campaign where both mercenary companies are to aid Volantis in a border dispute, Jon Connington calls Viserys into his tent. "There is someone I would like you to meet." He trails off, leading Viserys inside. Sitting at a small table is someone that he didn't recognize, probably wouldn't have recognized if it had not been for his eyes, a shade of dark blue, almost violet, like his own. He had a similar shock of dark blue hair. Young Griff, he remembers. A boy Connington had adopted in Essos. "Your nephew, Aegon Targaryen," Jon Connington stated. Viserys was taken aback by this. His nephew is dead. This couldn't be him. He wasn't convinced. By all accounts, that boy had his head smashed in by the mountain as a babe. But Jon Connington seemed convinced. Or maybe it was just a convenient tale to motivate a force of men. Either way, how he reacted next would be critical. He could deny it and lose a powerful potential ally. If he accepted it, he would be relegated to second fiddle. If it was true, well, that would be very messy. Succession law in Westeros had always been muddy, he thought. He was the oldest living male of the Targaryen line, but Aegon had been the only son of the rightful heir, his own older brother. Aerys had named him the heir near the end, but that might be disputed given his madness at the time. As far as legitimacy goes, the greater claim would go to who could gather the greater force, as it often did throughout history. In fact, he had heard that the usurper Baratheon brothers were experiencing this very situation at the moment across the sea. His mind flooded with rage, his choler rising. By what right? But he stopped himself. He couldn't just explode in every situation like before. He bore the mantle of leadership now. His men depended on him. However painful it was, he had the Golden Company behind him, and his reputation was clean. No years of being a beggar prince for young Griff. For Aegon. "I see," he said neutrally, every eye in the room upon him, tensing. "Then I am glad. The dragon once again has 3 heads." After a tense moment, Viserys extended his hand to the young man before him. Aegon, young Griff, as Jon Connington called him, rose slowly, his eyes searching Viserys' face for betrayal or rage. But Viserys had learned patience in the ruins of Valyria, where the ghosts of his ancestors had taught him that fire alone burns bright but brief, and must be tempered with steel to endure. "And together we shall forge a crown worthy of our blood." Jon Connington exhaled in relief, the lines of his face softening. He had expected fury from the exiled prince, but this Viserys was not the petulant boy of whispers. the one who ranted about his birthright. This was a man forged in the fires of adversity, his humility a shield as strong as the Valyrian steel hidden beneath his cloak. Aegon clasped Viserys' forearm. "Uncle," he said softly, the word tasting of hope and uncertainty. "I was raised in the shadows, told I am the rightful king, but I know nothing of ruling, only of hiding." "Then let me teach you," Viserys replied. "And in 10, lend me your golden company. We will not beg for our throne, we will take it." That night, around a flickering campfire, Viserys shared his story. Not the tales of entitlement, but of the boy who died saving him on a Braavosi street, of the horrors of Valyria's ruins, and of the treasures he had claimed. He revealed the Dragonbinder horn, its surface etched with ancient glyphs that hummed with latent power, and the treatise on fire sorcery, its pages whispering secrets of flame and blood. Jon Connington's eyes widened at the Valyrian steel armor, lighter than leather, yet impervious to blade. "The horn," Viserys explained, "binds dragons to its blower's will. The book, it teaches how to call fire from the soul, to bend it as our ancestors did, but these are tools, not crowns. We need an army, allies, and a plan." Aegon nodded, his dark blue hair catching the firelight. "The Golden Company has 10,000 men, elephants, and horses. We were bound for Westeros to claim my throne. With you, we could be unstoppable." Viserys smiled faintly. "Your throne. Let us speak plainly, nephew. The Iron Throne belongs to the strongest, but I will not fight you for it. First, we unite Essos under our banner." Over the following months, Viserys integrated the Silver Scales, now 2,000 strong, renowned for their heavy cavalry charges, into the Golden Company. His company brought expertise in Essos warfare, while the Golden Company's discipline and siege engines complemented them. Viserys, with Jorah Mormont's counsel, advised Aegon on command, reinforcing Jon Connington's lessons. "A king who boasts invites daggers. A king who listens wins hearts." Their first joint campaign was against Tyrosh, a contract from Volantis to settle a border dispute. Viserys' pyromancy proved decisive. Using Valyrian sorcery, he summoned controlled flames to ignite enemy supply lines, a feat known to his men, but astonishing to the others. The victory swelled their ranks with defectors and sellswords, and the Iron Bank of Braavos, inspired by Viserys' reliability, offered loans for expansion. Word of the Targaryen alliance spread. In Pentos, Illyrio Mopatis delivered Daenerys, now a young woman full of grace and fire, to the camp. Viserys embraced her, whispering, "I left you to protect you. Now we will fly together." Daenerys, inspired by her brother, revealed her own dragon dreams, visions that Viserys now shared. Together, they experimented with the Dragonbinder horn near the Smoking Sea, where ancient rumors spoke of surviving Valyrian beasts. After weeks of rituals, blending fire sorcery and the horn's call, 3 eggs, smuggled from Ashai by Viserys' Red Priest allies, hatched into dragons, a black-scaled beast for Aegon, named Rhaegar for his father, a cream-colored one for Daenerys, named Viserion, in honor of her brother, and a silver one for Viserys, which he would call Dreamfire II. With dragons, their conquest of Essos accelerated. Viserys, in council, advised Aegon to rule justly. "Conquer with fire, govern with mercy." They took lees in Myr, offering fair terms to magisters who surrendered, drawing more allies. Their force soon numbered 40,000, with Volantis' slave soldiers sworn to the Dragon Banner. They made peace with the Masters, and slowly stitched together a nation-state from the fragmented cities. That's the end of part 1. If you found this interesting or you liked it, let me know in the comments and I'll make a part 2. If it's not your thing or not really what you look for this channel, that's totally fine too. But if you like this kind of alternate history, or if you're a fan of the Song of Ice and Fire, God knows we're not getting Winds of Winter. George R. R. Martin's on the do literally anything but finish your own series challenge, and he's doing very well at it. You know, he, reanimated ancient dire wolves before he would finish his book? Ridiculous. And fat. But yeah, if you liked it, let me know, and part 2 is coming. See you next time.